sounds like
yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Let's see how it works out.
Exciting, nerve-wracking, a lot of emotions. I mean,
kind of probably everything.
Yeah.
Anxious is probably the word.
Yeah.
You know, exciting, nervous, a little bit of wonder there. That's probably the way I can describe how I'm feeling right now.
What's been the process like the last 2 weeks? Kind of get back to the point where it sounds like you're close to 100%. I mean, are you trusting it? You're on more? Are you kind of able to be free, maybe like you were before?
Still getting the trust factor back. These past 2 weeks, probably been the same. Just going about the same routine, getting that under control since I haven't been doing that for a while. Once I get that down, then it's, it gives me the best chance to succeed. So I've got that all locked down. It's like I just go out and have fun, do what you do.
Nice. A little easier not starting, just knowing that you're gonna kind of come in relief at some point, or would it be easier to?
I prefer starting.
Okay.
Just because you can have a little bit more of a routine, specifically for weight training, throwing, conditioning. Everything's kind of specific the way you want it, tailored, kind of almost. But it's probably good that I'm relieving just for my arm in the future. Since I'm only 11 and a half months and I'll be still under 12 in Hawaii, just fairly early.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably better for me in the long run that I have a smaller pitch count, work back into it easy.
What are you seeing from the guys who will be starting?
They're doing great. I mean, our hitters are pretty phenomenal this year compared to the years in the past, and they have trouble squaring them up, and it's going to be exciting to watch them face different hitters now.
Yeah.
Our hitters can succeed against other people, and our pitchers can kind of carve up the competition. We'll be excited.
How's the team approaching this first series?
Everyone's excited. This is kind of like the best time for us. Well, I mean, when the season starts, obviously, but this is where kind of a transformation happens. Everyone's excited, working towards something, but no one really knows. The older guys, but the freshmen don't really know exactly what they're working for. So this week, including the weekend, it's an enormous step for us because we've been playing against each other, on the same team, but it's kind of pitchers versus hitters. But now everyone gets to come together to face someone else. It's, the pitching, the defense, signs, hitting, everything comes together as one team against someone else. So the team kind of comes together. We all kind of rally together, and we get this kind of, exciting, team chemistry atmosphere that it's pretty fun to be a part of.
You guys went 3-4 last year down there, and that kind of got you going pretty early on. I mean, is it something that you see that this first series can do for you again?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good confidence booster when you start out hot and firing on all cylinders. People aren't going to wonder, hey, maybe I wasn't ready. That's a good start, but you can't really expect that you're going to go. I mean, you got to play the game, and we put enough into it that we're confident in the way we play that no team should be too much of it's going to be a challenge, but we can't underlook or overlook any team that we play.
What kind of challenges does this series present, both on the field and off?
Well, off the field foremost, traveling. We got school midterms are this week, next week, the week before, so that'll be a challenge. The older guys kind of have somewhat of a grasp, but the younger guys kind of are still, what are we going to do? We have tutoring, what time are we going to get up, everything, traveling, packing, what do you bring? It's a lot of things go through your mind you don't really realize. But then on the field, it's getting used to the systems, infielders, positioning, outfielders positioning, the tempo of the game, pitchers getting the signs, catchers being able to relay them, all the systems that we have, making sure that we've got them all under control, everyone's on the right page. That's kind of the on-field excitement or interesting aspect that we'll get to observe when we're there.
Does the destination of the trip ease the midterm aspect that you were just talking about?
I mean, everyone gets a little excitement going to Hawaii. Everyone's talking, making jokes like it's warm, we're going to get a tan, which is good. I mean, I'm excited. Arm will feel good. It'll feel really loose. It's not going to be 45, and kind of you gotta warm it up again. The destination doesn't really matter as much for school-wise because we're always going to have designated time for study hall. We're going to have like 2 hours a day probably. So, but it might change it a little bit because they're not going to want to be there as much. They're going to be like, okay, let's go out to the beach, do something like this. But if we're somewhere else, it's like, okay, I'll be here. I don't really have anything else to do. That'll probably be the one thing that'll change.
You guys have made this trip now a few years in a row. Do you think that it helps as far as pushing away any distractions and staying focused on getting the job done?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think everyone's just excited it's the first game. I mean, Hawaii is going to be even more exciting, but I think the fact that we're all going to play together on the same team for the first time is going to be the best aspect of it.
It's a luxury to have a guy like Sherfy at the back end of the bullpen who, a year ago, not a lot of people knew about it. Obviously one of the best closers in the country now. What a nice luxury to have.
Yeah, it's extremely nice. I mean, last year it wasn't just him, but it was Tommy too. It's like you get to the 8th inning and basically the game was over.
Yeah.
It was a pretty rare occasion that it wasn't. It's pretty nice. At least when I used to be like kind of a starter, it's like there wasn't like a fine line of like, okay, I'm going 7 and then 8 and 9 are done. But it's nice to know like, okay, well, got them to save me in my back pocket. Okay, I'm struggling. Whatever happens. But yeah, it's pretty nice to have someone that the whole team's gonna be like, okay, well, now watch this happen. And the other teams, like, okay, some guy 5'10", 160 pounds, and whatever, and then he's like 92 to 95 with a slider you can't touch. It's pretty nice when we kind of laugh about it when they're trying to hit him.
Sure. Yeah. Does he embody that? Horton calls him the wild thing. He's sort of that kind of funky Brian Wilson closer mentality, or
I wouldn't go that crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's way on the end of the spectrum. But a little bit. I mean,
Sure.
It's a different mentality.
Yeah.
It's kind of starts are more of like a sustained kind of, but out of the pen, it's like I'm going 100%, let it fire, let it rip. He's good at it. He's perfected it. But he's a little like that. But in order to be in that role, you kind of need to be to strive at least.
Sure.
Coach, talk a little bit about the on-field distractions when you're playing in Hawaii. How do you prepare the new guys for that?
I don't think you really can all that much. At least in Hawaii, it's pretty crazy fans. I mean, they're name calling. I know last year my dad almost got into a fight with one of them, and I don't know. My dad's like, he's not really. He would have gotten whooped. But you can't really. They don't really know. The only thing you hear is sometimes you hear the hoses or maybe construction. And you can't hear like the communication from the coaches. That's the only thing that they're only getting a tiny little instance from. But in Hawaii, it's a completely different world. We just hope that they'll take it as more of like motivation to outperform them, but like internal, not like I'm gonna try harder, but it's like, okay, watch me go. I'm gonna show you guys instead of like kind of get scared. You don't really know. Well, we'll see.
Sounds like 3 innings, 60 pitches.
Yeah.
10 or 20
I mean, it works out like that. That'd be perfect. But, we'll see. I mean, it's kind of the situation. If I need to come in relief, maybe we face the lefty with 2 outs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to get 50 to 60 pitches so my arm gets kind of stretched, the pitch count out.
Sure.
It's ready to go for the future.